Hey, what's up? Brother Bastone here. So today I wanted to start this video by showing you something pretty old. 9 years ago, in 2013, I uploaded this video that you're seeing right now to this YouTube channel, and it really took me a while to convince myself to include it in this video, because I'm sure you know, if you draw or if you make any kind of art yourself, most people don't like looking at their old art. And I think I have an extreme case of that condition. I don't even like looking at the stuff that I made like a couple of months ago, even a couple of weeks ago sometimes. Like, I just want to memory hole everything as soon as it's finished. I just pretend that it doesn't exist. And it's not even necessarily because I don't like it, but I don't know, like there's just something like kind of cringe-inducing to me about seeing my own ideas, like my thought process, my methods, like all of that stuff completely like laid bare on a page for everyone to see. Like, if you really think about it, like if you simplify it, when you're drawing something and you're showing it to the world, you're really opening up a little bit. Like, you're saying, hey, check this out, I had this idea, I think it's a cool idea. Do you think it's cool as well? And anytime you do that, of course, you're opening yourself up to rejection as well. To people who will not like what you made, who will not think it's cool. And I think that is where the like that cringy feeling that you get from your old art comes from. The fact that you realize that your old idea was not as cool as you thought, and suddenly you can put yourself in the shoes of those people who saw it for what it is back then. And this drawing is a good example of that. Like, back then I thought I had this really cool idea of some big bulky cyborg plugged into a bunch of cables, like recharging his mechanical body, but my technique back then couldn't really match what I had in my head, in my mind, and the end result is like, back then I was really proud of it. Like, I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever drawn, but now I'm on the other side with all of the people who could see it for what it was back then, and obviously it doesn't feel very good, but. Before I show you the version that I redrew recently, I just want to take a moment to look at that old drawing really in details, like just dive headfirst into the cringe. I think embracing it is the only way to get rid of it eventually, because there are some things in this drawing that are so far beyond comprehension that I just need to roast my own art to repent for those art sins. And the first one would be the shape language, just as you can see, exquisite shape language. If we look at the shapes of all of these armor plates, particularly on the arms here and the knees, just completely randomized scribbles. I have no idea what I was drawing. All of these little angles, these unnecessary added lines everywhere, no sense of volume at all. I have no idea which of these shapes are on top of which other shapes. Yeah, it's really bad. And that complete flatness is somehow made even worse by this weird thing that I did with my lines back then, where I had only two different line weights, like two different line thicknesses and nothing in between. So I had these thicker lines for that I used to outline shapes. So I would decide, I don't know, randomly that like this thing here was a shape that I wanted to outline, and I would use a thicker line to outline that. And then I would pick my thinner line weight and add some random thin lines inside that shape. But there was nothing in between, like no line weights in between those two, so it makes everything look even more flat. And one more thing that I need to point out, what is this? What are these shapes? What was I doing? What are these shadows supposed to be? I think I was trying to do like a sort of dithering effect, where you have like some of the shadows extending into the highlighted area, and some of the highlights extending into the shadows. Like, I was doing some kind of hatched dithering here as well, and some little bits on the head, like these little lines here. It looks so dumb looking at it now, but I was just looking at these big pointy shapes. Like, these are supposed to be shadows, but what do they even mean? Like, what is casting these things? I don't know. I guess back then I just thought they looked cool. Also, just as a side note, let's look at these hands. It seems that I have not improved at drawing hands at all in the past 9 years. This is pretty much still the same way that I draw hands now. It hurts. It hurts facing reality. But the reason I ended up redrawing this was actually because of the social media challenge that I did last month. I was looking for art challenge hashtags, and one that's pretty popular is the old versus new hashtag. So some people take an old art piece and a new one, and they show them side by side to show the like the evolution of their skills, their style, and so on. But some people actually try to redraw an old piece, and I thought that could be something fun. So I went through I went back through my old files. I dug up some old hard drives. And that started a painful process, just going through all of that old stuff. But actually, it made me like reminisce about this whole this art journey that I took almost accidentally. Because back then, like 9 years ago, it didn't even cross my mind that maybe I could try to make a living drawing stuff. I think, I'm not completely sure, but I think 2013 might have been my first year teaching French, first or second. I forget, but I had finished my my teacher training studies, and I was just starting on what I thought at that point would be like a lifelong teaching career, pretty much. I was drawing like every once in a while for fun, but I wasn't like strictly speaking practicing or anything like that back then. And it's weird looking back because all of these years just get mixed up in my mind. And because I've been uploading to YouTube for so long, sometimes I feel like that's the amount of time that I've actually taken drawing seriously. And then I start thinking like, wow, like I'm improving really, really slowly. Like it's been 10 years, 11 years, and this is what I have to show for it. Like what have I been doing? But going back to those old videos and all of that old art, it reminded me that I just didn't see art back then the way that I see it now. Like I think I went months sometimes when I was teaching without drawing anything. Like it wasn't always on my mind like it is now. And like when I see other artists, like insanely talented artists who are much younger than me and so much more talented, who have spent their time more wisely, I guess, like it really makes me wish I had spent all those years taking art more seriously as well. Like regret is it's a powerful thing, and it's a very cruel thing in the way that it gets more intense the more difficult your current life situation is. Like any obstacle or any adversity is just going to amplify any regrets that you have. Like with freelance work, for example, like there's always this this uncertainty and this pressure to find new work. Like right now, like I took February off, and now I'm trying to get that work stuff going again. And anytime something goes wrong, like something gets cancelled, whatever, it makes me think about those past 10 years, and I'm thinking about the choices I've made. That sounds much more dramatic than it should. I'm doing perfectly fine, but I think it's completely normal to think about that stuff. Like when you put that much time and that much effort into something, like what do you have to show for it in the end? Like these recent years I've spent focused on drawing, on art. Like what do I have to show for it? Like that's a question that's on my mind a lot. Because I certainly don't have what you would call a career in art yet, like just being a small random freelancer. I haven't produced any works, like quotation marks, works in the sense of something that you could print and turn into like a physical object or something. So I don't have much to show for it. I should probably work on that harder, make something more concrete. But when I was finished with this drawing, this cyborg recharging himself, and I went back to compare with the old version from 9 years ago, I liked it. Like it did feel pretty nice to see a clear difference, to see the progress. Like it did feel like I had something to show for that time spent drawing. It's not the most spectacular progress, but it felt like I could finally like I could translate into an image what I had in my mind 9 years ago, which I couldn't do before. And hopefully 9 years from now, I'll be able to do the same with some even more difficult ideas. But yeah, that's it for this video. As always, check out all the links in the description below if you want to see more art. Also, I made this available as a print. If you go to the Design by Humans link in the description, you can find it in that store. in case you want a print on your wall of a cyborg lost in deep thought as he ponders his life choices. Just something to contemplate as you draw. It's available there. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you would like to support this channel and help me make more videos, check out this Patreon link on screen right now or in the description below, where you can get all of my PSD files as well as real-time versions of all my videos.